Hey there, On Trackers. Scott Graves here from the On Track Music Guitar School, and we're bluesing away. We're bluesing away, and this is the second video of unit number 2. When I left you off, we started exploring some new chords, some new sounds, dominant 7th chords, and the open position. And so we learned some chords that are going to get us through the keys of E and A, our two most prominent or most commonly used keys for the blues. So you should know E7, A7, D7, and B7. And I also showed you the first example of a vamping rhythm in the key of E and just said, okay, learn these chords, kind of get this move under your belt, and now we're going to play that open chord vamp in E. So if you haven't watched the video before this, do that, okay? And we're going to actually play along to a track. So you should know for this one, we're doing the key of E. You should know your E7, one of the two forms for E7, should be comfortable with the A7 and the B7, and then that vamping rhythm that I showed you that was kind of that vamping rhythm, okay? And we're going to do it with a track now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and pull up my Guitar Pro chart that I made for this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the size of my screen so that you can see the track and follow the track as it goes along, okay? I notice with this track as it plays, it'll play through the first 2 lines, and then this one will kind of jump up to the top, so don't let that startle you, and then it will come back and go through the thing again. So we're going to do this twice. This says 120, but I have it set at 70% right now. So it's 70% of 120. Whatever that is, folks, you figure that out, you math majors. I'm a musician. I can only count to 4, okay? So here we go. 70% open chord vamp in E. This is what it should sound like. I'll be in the window. It'll be nice and it'll be kind of small for you. But I'll come back and do this bigger too so that you can see it. But I want you to follow the chart right now. So here we go. You're going to hear 4 clicks and we're going to go. Start on that E7. Back to the top on the E. Hit the wrong root there. Here's the A. Back to E. B. A. I just ended on an E7 to make it give some finality to it, but you get the idea, okay? All right, so let's talk about a couple of things here real quick. And again, I'll do that one more time, just kind of full screen. But a couple things that you could do here. This is going to sound good. I'm playing on electric guitar right now. This is going to sound great on acoustic guitar. These open chord vamps are made for acoustic or electric guitar, but if you're playing acoustic, they sound really great on acoustic, okay? And they're kind of easier moves than some of those shuffle moves are on acoustic. So you can do that. You can do this finger style. We've all seen, well, some of us have seen John Mayer play. He does a lot of finger style when he's doing the blues. A lot of people do finger style in the blues. And you could do this finger style where you use your thumb on the root and then kind of pluck these other strings. Like I might do thumb and then use my thumb on the 4th string, index, middle, ring on the highest 3 strings. If I do that, I'm kind of slapping down on these X's right there. So I'm going like... Right there, I just shifted to my 4 fingers on the finger style. Here, I'll show you. I'll do this. So this is what I would do if I was doing finger style. A couple different ways that I might approach it. I might do thumb here and then use these four fingers, index, ring, middle, and pinky, to pick those four strings and then kind of slap in on that mute, and then pluck everything together. So that's another way that you could go through that right there. So just a different ideas. Again, you could do it on acoustic guitar if you want to. Let's do this. I am going to pull up the guitar profile again, and I'm going to play through it one more time, and I'm going to do it so that you can watch me play it, okay? So let's do that, and I'll go ahead and start it. Here we go. Going to the A. Back to the E. B. A. E. B. Back to the E. A, E, B, and I'll end on E. Okay, nice bluesy sounding vamp there. So that was a vamp in the key of E. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to the next vamp example. I'm going to share my screen. And now we're going to look at a vamp in the key of A, okay? So here we just did the key of E. Let's look at another type of a vamp in the key of A. Let me see if I make that a little bit bigger. Here we go. Okay, so on this vamp, we're going to use the key of A. Our chords for the key of A, A7, E7, and D7. So again, the starting chord now is going to be A7. That's our 1 chord. Our 4 chord is the D7. So you're going to need to make sure you're familiar with that D7 shape right there. Okay, the A7 and the E7 we used in the last example. So if you need to review that D7, do that. That will be our 4 chord. And then we've got the E7 as the 5 chord. Okay. Now when you look at this vamp, the rhythm takes 2 bars. Okay, so there are 4 bars of the 1 chord before we go to our 4 chord. This rhythm's going to take 2 bars, so that means we'll do that 2-bar rhythm and then repeat that 2-bar rhythm right here. Okay, let's look at this 2-bar rhythm. It starts out exactly the same as what we just did. You've got the root, okay, and then the chord, and then the mute, and the upstroke. So it's 1, 2, 3, and now, the difference is instead of a quarter rest here, we have an 8th rest. We still put our hand down there, but we immediately follow on an upstroke on the and of 4. So if I start here, it sounds like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So you see how after I rest, I immediately come up with an upstroke. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay? Now, I hit the and of 4 here, that's an up. I hold it through 2, or hold it through beat 1. I rest on 2, I put my hand down on 2, and then hit another upstroke on the and of 2. Okay? It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. So this is an upstroke right here on the and of 2. And then it ties into beat 3 and 4 right there. So, and just holds out for the measure. Let me do that again, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, I know that might take a little bit of work. You got to get used to the groove on it. When we do it with the track, it'll actually feel pretty natural because you'll hear the drums going and you'll hear the bass and it'll really lock in. So we do that twice on the A, then we jump over to our D7, exact same move again on the D7. Now the D7, the 4 chord only goes for 2 bars, so that means you'll do that move once there because it's taking up 2 bars. So if I do that on the D7, it's going to sound like this. Again, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it really helps me to feel my hand go down on these rests. I feel my hand go down on beat 4. I feel my hand go down on beat 2. And that helps me to just feel the rhythm, okay, and know where to hit those upstrokes. Immediately after I do that down, I just hit an up, okay? So it's basically twice through the vamp on the A, once through the vamp on the D, then we come back 2 more bars of A, so that's going to be once through the vamp on A since it's a 2-bar phrase. Now we've got a measure of E and a measure of D. What I'm going to do here is that same vamp that we did on the last one, okay? It was this. So that's what we did for our previous vamp. So it's just 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on the D7, again, we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are both the same vamps that we had in the previous example, just 1 measure of each. And then the last 2 bars are going to be the A, again, with the full vamp that we learned. This is actually going to be a 1-chord turnaround because you've got A and you stay on A. But that vamp is the exact same thing that we did here on the A7 and on the D7. So we're going to come back to this one that goes. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. So what I would do right now is pause your screen, okay, and just look at this and try and get that rhythm feel down. Now, I'm going to come back and we're going to do it with the Guitar Pro track, and that can help you also to look at that and just kind of repeat that. You can slow your video down and do it slower if you want to with the track when I do that, but if you just look at this and get that down, okay, try and really get that move down, then we'll lock it in when we do it with the track, okay? So I would pause that here. I'll go back to a full screen to say goodbye so you can come back and look at this section of it and work on that, okay? So, okay, I will say goodbye. So long, blues soldier, and we'll come back here and do this in a minute, but get that feeling good and we'll go from there. See you in the next one.